You just downloaded the show that was nominated Best Entertainment Podcast of 2013, only to be beaten by The Walking Dead. This is Survivor Talk with D&D. I'm Dwayne.
And I'm David.
And we're just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. And tonight we have a special edition. It's a special interview just for y'all in between our full cast assessment and our listener feedback show, which is coming up in just a couple of days. Our interview with Billy Garcia. We called him on the phone. We talked to him for, golly, David, what, about an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, a good hour. And he was fun. So
covered a lot of topics. It was really good.
Yeah, I have a feeling we could have literally talked for another hour. This guy loves to talk about Survivor.
And if you're still waiting to make your picks for our feedback show, you can listen, and Billy's going to make his, and all the way to the end. You might be surprised.
Yes, I know David was surprised at several of them.
Because they were good.
That's right. What? Not.
They were good in the sense that he really put a lot of thought into it. I'm like,
right.
I'm just picking names and who I think could do this. Billy put like real thinking and good logic behind it. I'm like, oh man, you really put a lot into this.
Yeah,
this
Billy took it a little more seriously than you did, apparently.
Billy wants to win this time around.
Yes, Billy had his notes ready to go. All right, so we're going to let you hear Billy right after I tell you to shop Amazon using our links on our website, survivortalkwithdnd.com. Shop Amazon. Here's Billy. All right, so we're about to call Billy Garcia. I just got off the phone with him, and it is going to work. So we're pretty excited about this phone call. So I'm just putting in the numbers here, which I will not say out loud, so Billy doesn't get a bunch of phone calls from rabid fans. We're about to get Billy on the phone. Phone is ringing.
Hello.
Hello, Billy.
Hello, how you doing?
Man, we're doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm Dwayne, and with me on the phone is David. David, want to say hi to Billy?
Hey, Billy.
Nice to meet you, David.
Hey, now, do you go by Billy or Spanish Fly? What do you want us to call you?
Billy's good.
Billy's good? Oh, come on, man. I was kind of... Are you wrestling
I actually
much?
don't use that wrestling name anymore.
Oh, you don't?
I just go by Billy Garcia now, thanks to Survivor. I'm pre-Survivor. Spanish Fly was my wrestling name, and it was this big gimmick of that I was like this pimp from the neighborhood who who, if you were looking for a good time and had $500, I could hook you up.
That's awesome. So do you still wrestle?
Yes, I do. Not as often as I used to, because
Right.
my calendar is pretty full with so many different things now. Thanks
Right.
to Survivor, I do a lot of charity events and
Right.
a lot of appearances. So my calendar gets pretty full. But yeah, I still enjoy pro wrestling. It's always going to be in my blood.
Hey, I noticed that one of your favorites was Kurt Angle, and he's one of my favorites too. I'm a longtime wrestling fan, and we got a few wrestling fans that listen to our show. Have you ever met him?
I met him as in, hey, Kurt. Bye, Kurt.
Yeah. Yes.
Call that meeting him.
Yes.
That's more than I've done. So.
Yeah. That's like David told me once, oh, yeah, I met Stephen King. And I went, what? You met Stephen King? He's like, well, I went to a reading. I was like, you didn't meet Stephen King.
Yeah, he was up on the stage. I was about 5 rows back. I was there, though.
Yeah, you saw him. You didn't actually see him and talk to him.
No.
Well, even though I wasn't 5 rows back, I was right in front of him when he walked by.
He probably thought, was that Billy Garcia from Survivor?
Yeah.
More likely he thought, is this guy going to get out of my way?
Yeah, really. I'm going to have to take this guy out before I get in the ring. Oh man. Well, hey man, thanks for coming on our show. It's really a big pleasure for us. And I want to let you know that we're sorry that we couldn't get you on last season. You know, we tried to do a Google Hangout, and you were apparently locked in a concrete room with no internet because we had like 5-10 second delays, and so we just couldn't do it. So we were really glad to get you back on, and thank you so much for coming on our show, man.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. And all I could say is, I was on Survivor, man. There's no technology on Survivor, so it is not my friend.
Right. Yes. Yes. Now, before we talk about Survivor, do you want to promote what you're doing with your band and stuff?
Yeah, we just got through from playing a show at Blackstone 51 in Queens, and we're about to hit the studio and re-record an album that we've had to have recorded at least 2 or 3 times before.
Oh yeah.
And it's just we can't seem to get the sound the way we want it.
Right.
But now we found this studio that's a multi-platinum selling producer behind the studio, and they produce things for everything from Britney Spears to just all the big names. So we're like, all right, these are the people to go to because they're at the top level of this profession.
Right.
So we expect to put up a Kickstarter so we can fund the thing because those people don't come cheap.
No, not at all. Well, whenever you get that Kickstarter started, be sure to post it in our Facebook group.
Oh, thank you. Will do. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. David, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure. So
he turns my microphone off every once in a while.
Yeah.
He has to turn me back on, so he has to check, make sure I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Now, why don't you tell everybody the name of your group, Billy?
My band is Forsaken, spelled with 2 Ks, and our website is Forsaken.com, or if you're on Facebook, it's Facebook.com/Forsaken.
Cool. I don't think I've heard you yet. I'm gonna have to go listen. Are you on iTunes or anything?
I'm on several different sites, but we don't have it on iTunes yet because we're waiting to put out the album before we go that route.
Okay. All right.
But there are free downloads at bandmix.com/Forsaken.
Bandmix.com/Forsaken, right?
Yep.
All right.
Or you can just go to the Facebook and there's a link there.
Okay.
All right, so what would Forsaken be classified of the 3 categories? A beauty group, a brains group, or a brawn group?
I would probably say Brawn because we would probably beat you over the head with how hard and heavy our sound is. We're a heavy metal band, so heavy is associated with Brawn.
Yes.
So Forsaken would break right through the challenges. They wouldn't even climb the ladders or run through it. They just bust through everything until they get to the finish line. I like that.
Yes.
Well, I'm a former Marine, and all us former Marines think we could walk through walls.
Right. Right.
Which is true. We can walk through walls as long as we have a grenade handy.
Yes.
And as long as there's no little pebbles of sand to get in your eyes or anything, then you're really good to go.
Well, he wasn't wearing his helmet.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. So, have you heard Matt the Beard's group?
I have. I like Moonbow a lot, and it's inevitable that one day our 2 bands are going to play a show together. At least a show, maybe even a tour.
I think that would be really cool. That
sounds like a reality rally show, man.
Yeah.
Hey, who knows? Maybe one day. If the fans want it enough, then for sure it'll happen.
Yeah.
Reality Palooza. There you go.
Metal band Palooza reality something.
We'll work on the name of it.
Yeah.
We'll stay out of that part. We'll leave that to you guys.
We'll leave that to y'all.
Okay.
All right, so let's get to Survivor, but let's get to your season first because I know you what you made it to the final 3, right? Sorry, I'm just kidding.
I made it to the bottom 3. How about that?
No, it's the days on Survivor dividable by 3. There you go.
Yes. So what did you? Do you still look back on those days fondly?
It's an amazing thing that all of us survivors have this ability to filter out the negatives and just remember the positives. Because everybody I speak to, no matter at least everybody that I've ever spoken to, no matter how how bad things were portrayed on the edit or whatever, everyone has nice things to say, and they have their favorite moments, and I'm no different. I have my favorite moments.
Well, what are they? I'd love to hear them.
Sure. Probably my most favorite number one on the list is when we were on the ship and we had the 2 minutes to loot it.
Oh yeah.
And not only is it the moments that they showed on TV, but even leading up to that, where we were out there for like 3 hours, bobbing and weaving in the water, and you had half the cast over the bow of the ship just hurling chunks. You know? We were feeding the fish well that day.
Giving back to the water. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course Jeff Probst comes out, and all but one of us pulls back and and gets ourselves mentally ready, and say Koopa is still leaning over the bow, hurling chunks, and they're on a schedule. So Jeff was like, I'm sorry, I hate to do this to you, but you've got 10 seconds to get yourself together. 9, 8, and the more he counted, the more Sekou would like really finally start hurling chunks more.
Oh man,
it made it worse. Somehow, when Jeff Probst hit 2, 1, Sekou like inhaled and he I guess he swallowed it back down. And he pulled it together at the last second.
Oh man.
And to see his face and the buckets of sweat coming down the sides of his head to pull it together.
Yeah.
That's when I realized, oh boy, it's on.
Hey, now, were you a big fan of Survivor before you got on the show?
Yeah, absolutely. I still am.
Yeah. What was so you were a little bit about as prepared, I guess, as you could be before that countdown started about what to expect and stuff. What was the first thing that you remember that hit you like a wall that said, "Wow, there's no way to prepare for this"? Or do you remember?
Yeah, I absolutely remember. The best way I could describe it, because it's not one little moment. It's one very long. It's getting on that ship, being out there for 3 hours, having that whole moment of Sekou, jumping overboard into the ocean, and then after we go through all that, our truck gets run over by the ship. And our raft is getting sawed in half as the ship bobs and weaves in the water, and Cecilia's wedged in between the raft and the ship, and she's screaming bloody murder. And I look over at the boat that was zigzagging by, as a camera boat, and it looked like something out of the opening scene of Return of the Jedi at Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them, I'm thinking they're going to do something, and they're not. They're just focusing their cameras. And I'm like, I'm trying to get their attention. I look over and I yell at them, "We're all going to die.
Yeah, we're dying here.
We're not surviving. We're dying.
We're dying here."
So, that whole leading up to that one moment, that's definitely the one that hit me. And it's like, it's impossible to prepare for this.
Wow.
It's not about preparation. It's
Right.
about adaptation. That's really the game.
Right. Is there anything about the season that you're just sick and tired of talking about?
I guess the one thing that I guess I'm tired of talking about is people ask me, well, what really did happen? And I'm like, all right, you got the version that was shown in the first 2 episodes, you got the version that was shown in the recap episode, you got the version on Wikipedia, and you got the version on the main website. Pick your version. They're all wrong anyway.
Yeah.
So
You're like, you know what? To heck with it. Well, since you don't like to talk about that, we won't ask you about it. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Other than to ask you, what is it you don't want to talk about?
No, David. That's just not nice, David.
Go ahead.
That's okay. But I guess my point with the whole thing is that everybody there's 20 of us that played, so there is at minimum 20 points of view of what happened.
Oh, sure.
And then you get all the different producers, which is like another 30 people.
Right.
So now we're already up to 50 different point of views to what happened before we even get to the editor.
Right.
Right. So as far as the way I see it and the way everybody else sees it, it's never going to match.
Right.
And all right, there's four ways it's put out there. I think that's enough.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. We had an interview with Sherry Beethman, I guess almost a year ago now. I don't remember how long ago it was. But she was talking about how she was expecting the game to be what she had always imagined, where you're not allowed to talk to the cameramen and you're not, and they're really strict about stuff. And she was surprised. She kind of saw the man behind the curtain, because some of the returning players were out there talking to the cameramen and talking to the producers and stuff like that. Did you see any of that, or did you experience any of that during Cook Islands?
Well, to lay the foundation to my answer, we were all given a very thick contract, and within the contract is the rules of the game. That's what you sign off on.
Right.
It's not just the payout and all that stuff. It's the rules of the game that you're signing to play within those rules.
Right.
It probably took me a grand total of maybe 3-4 hours. I'm probably even exaggerating how long before I realized that the rules are less rules and more guidelines.
It's like the pirate code. They're not really rules. They're more like guidelines.
Exactly. And so, I tried to play within the rules, and that did more towards, or it contributed more towards my demise than anything that was portrayed in the edit.
Nice. So
it kind of seems like once you're out there, once the cameras have started rolling, once they've introduced everybody, you can almost kind of do anything you wanted until they told you to stop, or unless it's something that's breaking a law somewhere. Because it seems like the only rules now are don't steal and don't hurt anybody.
Well, you can't even say don't steal because that didn't stop Russell Hance.
Yeah.
He stole like crazy.
Yeah, and Rupert, that's true. Rupert stole too.
Water. And as far as don't hurt anybody, I think the better way of putting it is don't get caught hurting anybody.
Well, yeah, that's my point. You can get away with most anything as long as you don't get caught doing it.
Yeah.
Whatever the contract says, just don't get caught.
The biggest mistake I think I made, people always ask me what I do different, is I believed production at the Ponderosa before the game started when they claimed production wasn't part of the game.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
They claimed we would never lie to you. Production is not part of the game. Those were the exact words.
But they are.
And I believed it completely, and boy, do I feel gullible now.
Wow. So
they are more a part of the game than Jeff Probst.
Yeah.
See, this is what we're getting from Sherry as well.
Yeah.
This is the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, because they're on the beach with you.
They're on the beach with you. They're the ones. I'm going to use like one example here of manipulation by production. We get pulled off to do these confessionals, and we have to include their question in our answer.
Right.
So, like, if we get asked, tell us how hard is it for you out here? You have to say it is so hard for me out here because blah 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 blah.
Right.
You have to include. And so, what production does to manipulate you, they'll say things like, "Why do you think Christina doesn't like you?" And then, of course, the immediate thought is, Christina doesn't like me?
Yeah. He should be like, why do you think she doesn't like me?
So they manipulate so much, and they do it because stuff has to happen out there. If nothing happens, then you got a boring season.
Right.
But yeah, like that, if I'd have known that up front, I'd have been able to separate the entertainment from the game.
Right.
And I wouldn't have made all the mistakes that I made.
Right. David and I have often joked about how if production wants you to say, yes, I would save Billy Garcia, but they can't get you to say it, they would ask you something like, if saving Billy Garcia meant that you saved your entire family, would you save Billy Garcia? Just so that they would say, oh, yes, I would save Billy Garcia. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, they absolutely manipulate that way.
They will do whatever they can.
The field producer, which is the guy who's in charge of a given island or tribe, he has a book of notes, and he's figuring out how he's going to tell the story. He has one section of his book where it's what's going on, and the other section is what the story is he wants to tell.
What do I want going on?
His job is to make the two meet.
Right.
And so, that was brought on board. now I realize I was brought on board to be the entertainment. I was there to be, the comedy, the personality. They really weren't interested in me winning or going far or whatever. They had somebody for that on our tribe. They had Ozzy for that.
Right.
So I could see them
For me,
asking,
it was to tell jokes, and they were always trying to get me to tell more stories and to be more lively. And of course, when your back's against the wall, you got to put the jokes aside and you got to do buckle down and try to work the social game. But because I was constantly being what's the word I'm looking for? I was constantly being encouraged to put the game aside and focus on the entertainment part of it and tell more stories and jokes and whatnot. That hurt my game a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see them asking Dwayne, all right, Dwayne, if there's one person on your tribe you could save, who would it be? And Dwayne would say, well, I would want to save Billy. Okay, well, let's pretend Billy's not on your tribe. If there's one person else on your tribe you could save, well, I would save Jeffra. Well, let's pretend Jeffra's not on your tribe. If there's one other, until they get him to say it, well, I would save Rupert, and keep Rupert around because he's the only one left on my tribe. And then why would you save Rupert? Here comes a whole confessional about somebody that Dwayne wants to vote out, but now he's talking about saving just to build the story and suspense.
Right. I think they were trying to get you and Candace together, but Candace didn't get the memo. That's what I think happened.
Well, actually, if you go on my Twitter right now, Candace just came out recently without me even provoking her or baiting her or whatever. She recently came out and said on my Twitter that I made a great first impression on her at the Ponderosa, and before the game started, it just stars weren't aligned. So I think she got the memo.
Yeah.
I think she just had her own ideas. But she also went out to write in a different on the same thread, I guess is what you call it. She went out to write that she believes you make your own destiny. So what's she hinting at there? That she was probably given the hint that they wanted her to go in one direction, and she decided to make her own destiny and go in a different direction.
That's right. All right.
You're not allowed to do that on Survivor. You're supposed to follow the rules.
That's
follow the
right.
script.
But for what it's worth, if I hadn't have been voted out, probably nothing romantic would have happened between me and Candace, but we would have had an alliance because that was already determined at the previous time that we had that they didn't show where we had a chance to talk to one another.
Oh yeah.
And we were both anticipating because Panama had just happened where they had the 4 tribes, and after just one challenge, they reshuffled the tribe and they got rid of their twist, and after just one round of elimination.
Right.
And so that's what we were both anticipating, that this whole race thing was only going to last one round.
Yeah.
So we were all
okay.
right, you pull me, I pull you, and we'll work together that way. And so that was what the precursor to my conversation with her that they did show.
Cool.
The precursor was me telling her if they do the challenge, I won't be able to live up to my end of the bargain.
Right. Right.
And that's what led to the rest of the conversation.
Right. Okay. Well, cool. Well, hey, what do you think about the new season coming up?
I think the new season, I like the 3-tribe format in that, the tribes are big enough to where you have maneuverability as opposed to the format we had in Panama and Cook Islands, where Panama they had 4-member tribes and Cook Islands we had 5-member tribes where gender pretty much determined a lot of what was going on in those small tribes. I think having gender even and having a 3-tribe format of 6 is just at the cusp where you can get away with having small tribes.
Right. Right. Well, did you get our predictions? Not our predictions, but our questions. Did you get that?
I sure did, and they're right in front of me with my answers already set up to where I have a reference here.
All right.
The one thing I like, you mentioned the 6-person tribes. I like the fact that you can have a stalemate right at the beginning, that people have to make decisions. There's not one obvious person to vote out. Of the 5, there's not 4 against 1. It could be 3 against 3. So the strategic and social game starts right away.
It could be 3 against 3. There's all sorts of things that could happen. I'll get into it as we get into the questions, but I think three tribes should be the limit. I prefer the 2-tribe format, and if you're going to do 3 tribes, I would prefer it to be 3 8 tribes to just deal with the extra 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to this season. Obviously we've been looking at these cast members for a couple of weeks, and the more I look at them, the more I'm looking forward to the season. So,
well, if you get off the beauty tribe, you'd see the rest of the people that are in this game. But
I mean, there's more than just those 3 women, Jeffrey,
Yes.
Morgan, and Alexis.
Yes, there's more.
All right. Well, David came up with these questions. I helped him a little bit, but they're pretty much David's brainchild. And what we're going to do is at the end of the season, David will, see who did the best between everybody who's going to give all their predictions. So you'll see all that on the Facebook group, which is cool because Billy Garcia is part of our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Survivor Talk. So David, why don't you give him the first question and let's get into this.
All right. Which tribe of the first 3 initial tribes, the Brain, Brawn, and Beauty, will win the most tribal challenges, both reward and immunity? And this goes up to a shuffle or a merge. So once the shuffle or merge happens and they're intermingled, then the tally will stop counting. But before then, which of these 3 tribes, before there's any breakup or shuffle, will win the most challenges?
Well, you would think on paper it would be the Brains tribe, but from my experience, the early challenges favor the Bronze. That's why you tend to have survivors say, we need to keep a strong tribe, we need to vote out the weak, and it's just because the early few challenges, the first maybe 4 rounds of elimination, all favor the Bronze, the people with the Bronze.
Right. Although you have the advantage on the Beauty tribe, you got 2 guys that could be Brawn. On the Brains tribe, you got Garrett, possibly David. So they might be able to pull it off.
If you look at the Brawn tribe, their average age is a lot older.
Yes.
So that's kind of I think how Survivor decided to equal things out, level the playing field a little bit. As far as the Beauty tribe and those guys looking like they're strong, I've learned from my own tribe and JP that there's such a thing as just muscles that are for looks and nothing more.
Ah.
No practical purposes whatsoever.
Jeremiah's muscles are just for the camera. Yes.
And I said this to JP's face during the game, and I'll say it again. It's my first time saying it in that long of a time. There is such a thing as having the $1 million body, but the 10-cent brain.
I had the $1 million brain and the 10-cent body is what I got.
Well, that's even better, right?
Yeah.
It worked for Cochran.
Yes, it sure did.
Really. That's a good point about the ages because the Brawn is 36 on average, 36 years old. The Brains is 33 and the Beauty is 26. That's a huge age difference between those 3 tribes.
Yeah. So, when it comes to things like changing your metabolism to adapt to the game or what have you, it's going to favor the Beauty tribe. They're the ones that are going to adapt the most quickly. Because the older you are, the more your body slows down in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Right. Boy, that's the truth.
So you're thinking they're going to start off strong and then slowly start to dissolve or not be as strong, I guess.
I think the Beauty, what's going to hurt the Beauty is that they're all going to be pretty prissy. I don't even think it's going to be. I think it's going to be fine as far as the metabolism. I think they're going to be prissy, and then because they're out of their comfort zone, you're going to see. The one thing about Beauty is that the Beauty tend to be skin deep, and they tend to be kind of ugly on the inside. So I think you might see some of that ugliness.
All right. Cool.
And I think that's why the Brawn will dominate, not just because they're the Brawn, but because they're a little older, they're a little wiser. They'll manage better together. They'll be more of a cohesive team.
I think that maturity is also going to help in what you said a few minutes ago about adapting, because a Survivor is a lot about adapting to your situation. And to me, it's also about faking. If you don't have patience for somebody, then fake that you have patience for somebody just to make it to another day. You're right. It's about dealing with the situation and evolving in it.
Yeah. That's part of that wisdom that comes with age. Once you're a little older, you can put up with more.
Right. All right, David. Number 2.
Which castaway will leave the game in episode 1? Now, I think here lately we've been told by, I think Andy Baker shared it with us, and some other have, that it's going to be 2 people leaving in episode 1 because it's 2 hours. They condensed the episodes for the Olympics. But
but
the
you
question
still only give us one.
The question only needs one answer, but it doubles your chances if 2 people do leave in the first episode.
Okay. Well, this is my answer.
All right.
Jeffrey Bland. Anyone with the
No!
last name Bland needs to go first.
That is Dwayne's favorite player.
Well, this
season.
has been a fun conversation, and
Sorry you gotta go.
sorry. Oh, my wife's calling.
Well, her last name is Bland.
Yeah, I know.
It's not a good last name for Survivor.
Well, Jeremiah's last name is Wood. Don't you know he got messed around all of his life for that one?
Sure he would. Why not?
Oh,
We had a player on my season named Shallow.
Shallow.
Aubrey
Yes.
That's right.
Boy.
Yeah, how well did she ever do? I mean, come
Woo.
on. Does anybody still know her? I mean, really?
Yeah. All right, so you say Jeffra. All right, number 3.
Which castaways will be the first players voted out of their tribe before a shuffle or a merge? So from each of the groups, obviously, if you think one group is going to make it all the way like Tandang did under Mike Scoopin's guidance, if you think they're going to make it to the merge or shuffle, then you can say none, or you can give me 3 names.
All right, obviously I gave you Jeff for first.
Yeah. Well.
And for the brains, I'm going to go David. And for the brawn, I'm going to go Cliff. And the reason why I'm going with those 2 guys is because those 2 guys are easily the most wealthiest people in the game, as well as the oldest people on their tribe. That, to me, is the lethal combination where, it's as good as being deaf and dumb on a game that's a social game.
Right.
See, I think Cliff's going to have a hard time hiding who he was as well. Because David recognized him because in his interview on the cast assessment, he said Uncle Cliffy. So he knows who he is.
He does.
So if that gets any further, he's definitely going to have a problem with that. But you're right. I mean, being that tall, I don't know. I recognize him because I've followed college basketball and pro basketball, but I understand where you're coming from. I think it's definitely going to hurt him.
I think Cliff.
Even if you never watch basketball, you see a guy in your tribe that tall. The first question I would come up with is if you ever played basketball.
Exactly.
He's just that tall.
Yep.
Basketball, what's that?
He'll
He's a soccer player. Yeah.
He'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I think Cliff's going to trip over Woo and have a medical evac. He's just not going to see him there, It's like my wife was in our Equinox and I was behind her in the Miata. I have a little Miata, anyway, long story. But Connie, my wife's name is Connie, and I got away from behind her pretty quickly, and she said, Dwayne, I could not see you there, which is what's going to happen to a Woo. He's going to get run over by Cliff because Cliff won't see him. All right.
Go ahead.
Well, I gotta say there, buddy, I feel like you may be off on the 2 guys. It's not often that guys are first off when you got. I mean, I would think they would want a woman off first.
Off of the question was who's the first off their tribe.
Right. I understand.
Yeah, so this could be a little deeper in the game where people are thinking differently.
That's true, because if Brawn makes it further and okay, see, now you got me thinking. All right.
All right.
I hear scratching on Dwayne's lips.
Yes, scratch. Yeah, David and I have not revealed ours yet, so apologies for not telling you what our answers are yet, but
No, that's okay.
All right, number 4.
Which castaway is most likely to quit this season?
All right, I'm going to answer this question, but I don't think anybody's going to quit this season.
Okay.
But,
I like that answer the best, but go ahead.
But if you twist my arm and I had to pick, then I would pick either David or Cliff, only because when you have that kind of money, the thought comes to your head like, I don't really need this. Why am I putting myself through this?
All right. Do you want to narrow it down to one of them?
I would say David over Cliff, just because Cliff is more of a competitor,
right?
Whereas David has a front office job,
right?
See, I would have thought the other way around because Cliff, I didn't get the sense that he's a fan like David is a fan, and I would think David would be more driven, Mr. Triathlon or Ironman, to finish this thing no matter how it goes. I would think he'd want to stick it out, but I can see where you're going, but I would think Cliff before David would probably quit because Cliff would be the one saying, well, I can just go back to Korea with Rodman. I don't need to stay out here too much. But
David, stop harassing the guest, man.
Sorry.
Gosh, I'm sorry, Billy. I thought it was a great answer, man.
I might be on mute in a minute, so that's okay.
All right, let's go with number 5.
All right, which castaway is most likely to be the villain of season 28?
I think it's Spencer by a lot.
Yeah.
Spencer sounds especially cutthroat in his interviews. I expect him to be like a calmer, smarter Colton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his age at only 21 is going to hurt him in the fact that he hasn't have a lot of life experience, and he's going to have trouble adapting and evolving with people around him. He's going to be very short.
In his interviews, he said something like he had no problem telling people when they're wrong or when they're not being smart, and so I think that has a lot to do with maturity as well.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what's going to drive him. That plus being on the Brains tribe is going to drive him to be a major villain. If he lasts, he could be one of the biggest villains of all time. If he lasts,
Right.
That's one reason I would think he would last. Just people want to take him to the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Tribe has to win early for that to happen.
Yes.
Exactly. That's going to be the problem, right? Number 6, which castaway is most likely to leave season 28 for medical reasons? Of course, this is a guess because who knows? You could have a Courtney Moon. You could have anything could happen, and then you just
It's impossible to give a real prediction, but my guess is going to be Cliff, only because he's a basketball player with a lot of mileage on his body and being super tall. You know, I know from my pro wrestling background that people that are super tall and get mileage on their body tend to have bad knees, like terribly bad knees, like the kind that snap, crackle, and pop when they're sitting at the locker room putting their wrestling boots on. You know?
Right.
So I'd imagine that Cliff is that same way.
Especially those that have spent 15, 20 years running up and down and banging on basketball floors for most of their life. Yeah, his knees are definitely susceptible to injury, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd imagine that puts him at risk.
Well, that's a
all right,
good
Billy's
point.
being smart here.
I know.
I'm not thinking smart. I'm just thinking random. He's giving good answers. Now I got to start changing some of mine. Doggone it! You got a survivor on here. We can't.
I was thinking maybe Trish. You know, she like the first big wind, and they can't find her anymore because she gets blown away.
Well, I was thinking Jeffra's hat gets blown away, and she goes to find it. She never comes back. So she's
maybe
on a boat
so.
somewhere. But you don't want to hear about Jeffra. So, okay, I understand.
All right, number 7.
Which castaway will win the most individual immunity challenges? So this would also be somebody that you're kind of picking to go far in the game if they're going to start winning.
Yeah. And one of my favorite guys that I'm looking at, and I think he's going to dominate the challenge, is Woo, the martial arts instructor.
Woo!
Yeah, I love that name. That's a great name.
Dwayne doesn't realize he's emulating the Nature Boy when he does that. But anyway, we do. We get it. But he won't.
I know that. Oh, I cannot stand the Nature Boy.
Okay.
Oh,
it's the legend, man. What are you talking
Ric
about?
Flair! All right, anyway, go ahead.
I think you were a Hulkamaniac growing up then.
Hey, man, when I was growing up, it was the Von Erichs, man.
Oh,
that was in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
true. I was in Texas, so it was the Von Erichs for me.
All right, that makes sense.
I had Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, which was Flair and the Andersons and Ricky Steamboat, Wahoo McDaniel, all those guys. Showing my age, but that's who I had when I was growing up.
I like Jake the Snake.
All right. Well, see, I grew up in Miami, so we were down south where we got both the WWE and the WWF and the NWA. Yeah, even though my first wrestling match live was WWF, Hulk Hogan versus Kamala, I was always a Four Horsemen fan.
Yeah, cool. Cool. All right,
I remember running out my house, listening to people like yelling or whatever to find out what was going on, and it was the day that the Four Horsemen broke Dusty Rhodes' legs in the ring. And so that's how you know my whole community was like into pro wrestling.
Yes.
Wow.
I was like the only one in my family who would watch it, you know.
Tell you though, that was one of my favorite nights that I ever attended was a War Games with the Four Horsemen against Dusty and Nikita, and then my favorite wrestlers, the Road Warriors. And I could have sworn that when Hawk climbed that cage and yelled at the audience, he was looking right at me. Because I was all the way up at the top row, and he was giving me the raised fist, and I'm thinking that's why I came.
He was
just to get
David.
the raised fist.
That's awesome.
I grew up a wrestling fan, man. Couldn't help it.
Well,
I actually saw.
I expect. Go ahead.
No, I was going to make a joke. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to bring it back around and say I expect Wu to be the Ricky Steamboat of this season. He's gonna be the most athletic guy here.
Yeah.
Be the Dragon. Ooh, Woo the Dragon. I like that.
He'll be fast.
And thank you for saving us from Dwayne.
He'll be fast. He'll be agile. He'll be well balanced. I mean, he's going to bring so many different skills that you see come out in all the physical challenges.
Right.
I think his only Achilles heel could probably be the water, but we don't know that yet.
Right.
For all we know, he could be a great swimmer.
So once the merge happens and he's on a tribe of single players, how big a target is he going to have on his back? Is he going to make it long enough to win those challenges?
If he's I think once the merge happens, he's gonna dominate the challenges enough that he's gonna be like Terry B, darn near impossible to take out. And if he's aligned properly, he'll be like Ozzy. Well, even when he loses that one challenge, you still won't take him out.
Right.
That's going to come down to how well Brawn does, possibly going into these challenges. If Cliff goes out with an injury, or Trish fades away from the win, whatever Dwayne was talking about, then he's going to lose his alliance pretty quick. So if he's not in the numbers, right? If he's wearing a necklace, you can't wear a target. But if he's not wearing the necklace, he's probably going to be the first one with a target. Right.
Well, I think the alliance is going to dominate. The Bronze tribe is going to be the two cops getting together with the two fitness instructors, the martial arts instructor and the Pilates instructor.
Right, Trish. Yeah.
Maybe.
Trish, yeah.
Maybe.
So I think that's going to be the power alliance. Those four.
But you can't have an alliance without a hairstylist. You got to have a hairstylist with the alliance. So just throw Lindsay in there, and Cliff's going to be the first one.
Yeah, David really likes Lindsay. Have you seen the Jeff Probst assessment that came out today?
I haven't had a chance to see the assessment today, but
all right.
all right.
We heard a little more from Sarah that I didn't hear before. In the previous one, she had mentioned that she figured out Tony was a cop. But in this one, we hear a little more. She says he's one of those jerk cops. Or something like that.
Yeah, she says he reminds me of one of those jerk cops I was just talking about.
Yes.
So apparently she was talking about the people she has to deal with at work, and he reminds her of the people that she doesn't like.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how that alliance is gonna go up. I really think I don't know, man.
Self-preservation will do a lot of things, man. It'll turn enemies into bedfellows.
That is true. That is true. And to be honest with you, what do we know? I mean, what do we know? All right, number eight.
I mean, I could be writing down the answers of our winner here. So like I said, I think he's thinking too logical. We got to make sense of this. Number 8, how many hidden immunity idols we played this season? Another just roll the dice guess.
If any.
Well, there's 3 tribes, and Survivor of late is every tribe gets an idol. So I'm gonna say 3 is the minimum, and assuming that that all of the idols do not get played by the merge, and I think that'll stop at 3. If all of the idols get played by the merge, and I think it'll be 4. They'll add 1 more at the merge.
Okay.
So is that your final answer? 3 or 4?
Yeah.
you got to settle.
Lock it in.
You got to settle on one of them, Billy. You got to settle on one of them.
I'm gonna say 3 because I don't think it's likely that all 3 tribes will play their idol before the merge.
Right.
It sounds far-fetched.
Yeah, there's a good chance that one will survive quite a while if they win challenges, and the second one has a 50-50 shot of being played. So, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. And, of course, the people in trouble never find the idol. It's always the people that aren't in trouble.
Yeah.
So
I can explain that. I can explain that.
Go ahead.
How?
If you're in trouble, you don't want to leave the group because as soon as you leave the group, they're talking about you. If you're not in trouble, you have the slack to go anywhere on the island and not have to worry about somebody bringing up your name.
Right.
So that makes the people not in trouble, they're more likely to go searching for the idol, and the people in trouble more likely to stay with the tribe.
Yep.
See, now you would have thought Aris would have known that.
Unless you're Aris last season.
And it's time for yoga.
Well, yeah. If you're going to use your time away from the tribe doing yoga, then that'll pretty much get your chance.
I guess he was thinking. I'm that former winner. I can walk away from the tribe anytime I want to. So I'm good.
I always thought it was because production knew who they wanted to have the idols, and they kind of helped them along,
Well, that was the theory back when Russell found like 5 million idols.
Yeah. Every time Russell got around the tree, the cameraman would go, "Man, have you looked in that tree lately?"
Well, there was one scene where you see Russell's hand go up into the tree.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking to myself, all right, for for there to be a camera there, like a camera battery doesn't last forever.
Right.
Like a camera battery has a short life. It's about 2 hours life, the top quality ones. So it's kind of hard to believe this camera was running all day long.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Hey, Russell,
but
before you
without
stick your
battery,
hand in that tree, let me do something real quick.
No.
Turn the camera on.
Or he could have Russell just could have tripped over the power cord.
Yeah.
There's something in his tree.
He starts pulling up the cord and tracing it to where it's going.
Okay, this is what happened. Russell got a note, and it said, if you go by the tree, be sure to turn on the idle cam. And he looks over, and there's a camera, and it says, hidden immunity idle cam. Please turn on before looking in tree. All right. Number 9.
All right, now we're getting to the nitty gritty. Which 3 castaways will make the final 3 at the final tribal council?
Okay, so I'm going to stick with my Power Alliance, and I'm going to say Woo and Trish for sure, and then one of the cops. As far as one of the cops, I'm going to go with Lindsay just randomly, but it's probably whomever burnt the most bridges on the way there.
Now,
But for
Lindsay's
sure,
the
Woo and Trish.
hairstylist.
Yeah.
The cops are Sarah and Tony.
Sarah and Tony, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So it's probably, Sarah was the one who was saying one of those.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with her because she sounds a little too outspoken. She might burn some bridges along the way.
Oh, so she might be a goat to take to the final 3.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go with Boo and Trish as the Power Alliance because I think 2 cops together are kind of obvious,
Yeah.
and people are gonna want to split that up.
Right.
Whereas two fitness instructors, a martial art instructor and a Pilates instructor, is not so obvious.
Right. Well,
Nobody really thinks, oh, we got to split up the Pilates and the martial artists.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody would think that. But 2 cops, people say, oh, my God, they're partners. You got to split them up.
yes.
See, I wonder if Trisha will talk about herself that much because Woo, when he's out there doing martial arts in the sand, they're probably going to figure out what he does for a living. But when Trish, I don't know if she'll talk about all that. But that's true. If those 2 connect, that would be a good alliance, especially in the challenges.
I don't think Trish can keep from talking. I really don't. I think she's going to be a talker.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be looking at her like, what are you talking about? That's what I think.
Well, so long as that would play into my number 10 here, my number 10 answer.
Yes.
So I'll let you read the question, and I'll give you the answer.
All right. Go ahead, David.
Billy, former Spanish Fly Garcia, which castaway will win Survivor Cagayan?
Woo!
Woo!
The second Asian to ever win.
There you go.
Wow.
There you have it. Those are Billy's picks. I like it.
Can't say it's too far off. Like I said, he's using logic. I'm not used to using logic. I'm used to just guessing.
Wait. You can't say he's too far off. From what? We don't know the answers.
Well, I mean, from making sense. Let's put it that way.
Oh, hey, Billy, you're not too far off from making sense.
Well, that's better than I did in the cookout.
Yeah.
He was making breakfast after day 6 in cookout.
Yeah.
So
Man. Oh, well, Billy, I tell you what I think we are going to do. I think we're going to go ahead and release this as its own separate podcast. I'll probably put it out tomorrow even. So,
Cool.
Because we've had a good, 45, 50 minutes of fun with you tonight. Have you had a good time?
Absolutely. I had a great time. Just send me the link so I can post it up on all my different social media.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
So is there anything else you want to say about the Survivor, either your season, past seasons, this coming season? Anything else you want to talk about?
I'll just briefly say I think this season has a lot to live up to because we've had like 2 off the hook seasons back to back, or maybe even 3, arguably. And so we're kind of in a new golden era of Survivor,
right?
Where every season something exciting happens, something that hadn't happened before happened. We just got through from someone voting out their own mother.
Yes.
Like, that's just that. In the old days, that was a Survivor joke,
Yeah.
This person will vote out their own mother.
Right.
So now we really do have someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The last 3 seasons have had a lot more ups than downs. They've been really, really good and fun to watch. And I'm really glad, but I'm glad they gave us an all new season again.
Yeah.
And I just hope it steps up to the other ones.
Yeah.
I think Survivor's falling into a pattern of, since they're getting re-upped 2 seasons at a time. I think they do 1 season all new, 1 season with returning players, and they're falling into that pattern.
Well, okay.
I think what Survivor needs to do is to figure out a way to get like a 4-season deal instead of a 2-season deal. And if they do that, then you can have 3 out of the 4 seasons with all new players.
Right.
Unfortunately, in this format, you have to bring back players in 1 of the 2 seasons just to up the ratings enough to warrant the net contract.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they call or bring you back, what's your answer?
My answer is, when are we leaving?
Yeah.
I already have, before they hang up the phone, I'll be right there next to them. When are we leaving with my backpack? I'll have 2 suitcases, all with the same shirt in both of them.
Yes. You're like, you tell me what to wear, I'll wear it. What character do you want me to play? Who do you want me to fall in love with?
I'll even reel off some names.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
Yeah.
Candace is married, but these following are not married right now, and I'll just start naming names.
Yeah.
One of them will stick, and I'll be like, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Let's put the 2 of you on.
I think Chelsea should be on your season.
Who's that? I'm sorry?
Chelsea Meisner.
Chelsea. Oh,
Yeah.
she's a beer drinker, and I'm a beer drinker.
Well, there you go. There you
That
go.
works. There's a few. That's one of my few names. There's a couple more. There's Natalie T, who's a dream chaser, and I'm a dream chaser. She dances to music. I play it.
Yeah, there
So
you
that
go.
works out.
There you go. You're like, hey, I'll bring the guitar. You just bring the
Yeah,
dance moves.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Just shake your thing, and I'll watch and play.
You can even set the tempo and the beat. That's fine with me.
Survivor the musical sounds like a theme to itself.
Yes.
There you go. We'll do this. We'll do this whole number on the hidden immunity idol. Where is it? Where is it? It's here.
that was good.
I think Billy's right. I think his bags are sitting at the front door. He's
Yeah.
waiting for that phone call right now.
Yes.
Just put it right there. Just put it right
Yes.
there. We'll
Call
change
me.
the Survivor theme to match. Instead of Survivor whatever island, it'll be Survivor Billy-Land.
Yes. That's
and
right.
we'll change the theme to Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. It'll fit perfect.
Yes. I absolutely agree. Well, David, do you have anything else for Billy?
Well, I got one more question I was going to ask. I'd like to ask everybody.
Yes.
As a fan, who are your favorite survivors? Just a few that you enjoyed watching or think really, really got the game and played it well.
Wow. Well, I'm going to shock you with my number 1 favorite of all time. I got to play with him, and that's Jonathan Penner.
Nice.
That dude is never boring. He's never boring.
No.
You can go to a cafe at like 5 in the morning just to grab a little bite to eat to try to wake up, and that dude is not boring.
Yes.
So he's my number 1 guy. I have a few favorites. Back in the day, obviously, since I'm an old school player, I'm influenced a lot by a lot of old school players like Rob Cesternino and I got to see one of my favorites come back in Jervis.
Yes.
Jervis was the first guy who had my game plan of being lazy. And it worked great for him twice.
Yeah, it didn't work for you.
It didn't work for me, but you got to be on a big tribe to make that work.
Yes, true.
When you're on a big tribe, there are a lot worse things going on than someone being lazy.
Yeah.
When you're on a small tribe, it's too noticeable. And that's kind of what happened to Rupert. He adapted at Redemption Island. He adapted the same strategy. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to lay here.
Yeah.
Well, there's only three people there, so you kind of stuck out, and people are like, all right, well, I don't feel like feeding this guy anymore. Let's work together to get rid of him and beat him at the challenge.
I think me and David would have to be lazy just out of necessity. I don't think it'd be strategy. I think it'd be, you know what? I can't get up and get that log. So I'm just
gonna flick branches of flame at it. Hopefully it'll catch on fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna just.
Well, the theory behind the lazy strategy is some players are just too naturally strong. You got to wear them out. So
yes.
if you're gonna have any kind of chance against them later on when it's individual challenges, you got to be worn out going into those.
Make it work.
That's the theory. And for Jervis, like I said, it worked for him.
Yeah.
So you saw Ozzy and said, "I got to let that guy work until he falls over."
I was like, this guy can climb a tree like a monkey. He can swim like a dolphin. Like, what chance do I have unless he's worn out?
Right. And he didn't wear out.
He didn't wear out, and he kind of did.
Okay.
There was one challenge where he got beat, and it was because he just didn't have it anymore for that one week, and then he got to eat the very next challenge, the very next reward challenge, and that re-energized.
Yeah.
See, it's too bad you didn't get to see Philippines before that season. You could have done the Abby Maria strategy of throwing coconuts at his head, tossing machetes around.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's a few people that adapted my strategy and made it work better for them. Jean Robert was one of those guys that he was like, his strategy is to do nothing, get on people's nerves, and hopefully they'll take it to the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
That surprised me with him too, because I like poker players and I like how they play, but that's why I like Garrett. But I was surprised that Jean kind of burned some bridges, just kind of didn't make too many people happy. I was surprised.
Well, I think he was trying to be the GOAT, be taken to the end, and then sit at the end and say, "Ha ha, I fooled you. I made you all think that I was the perfect guy to take at the end."
Right. Whether
that won people over or not, probably not. But but that was the strategy.
Yes.
Right. Huh.
Well, that was something similar as to what Philip Shepard does. He likes people to think of him as crazy, which makes people want to take him along just because he's crazy. And then the surprise people and say, "Okay, look, I'm this intelligent person after all." And even though he didn't say that when he sat next to Boss or Rob, I think he kind of got caught up in the Rob is awesome. Let me just accept it.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hey man, before we go, give us your place where people can listen to your Forsaken music with 2 Ks. One more time.
All right.
One more time.
It is facebook.com/Forsaken or Forsaken.com.
All right. So y'all go listen to his music. Help this guy make some money. Well, although it's free though, isn't it? It's free right now.
The downloads are free. We're working on an album. We'll put the Kickstarter link on both sites.
Yes.
When we get the Kickstarter going.
Yes, and once you get that Kickstarter going, we'll put it on our Facebook group too, so people can see it. And
thank you.
So it's been a blast, man. I've really had fun talking to you tonight. And how about you, David? You enjoyed yourself?
Oh, very much. I appreciate you coming on kind of last minute because I know we just called you recently again. I'm glad you gave us a second chance.
Yes.
Redemption podcast. There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Survivor Talk with D&D Redemption Island.
That's awesome. Thank you. And hopefully we'll have a second chance season, a Survivor Redemption someday.
Yes.
If they do, mark my words, I will win it.
Yes. All right.
Go.
You have heard it here, y'all.
All right. I'm going to start that tally right now.
Yes.
The winner of Survivor 34, Billy Garcia. Gotcha.
All right. Thanks, Billy, man. It's been great.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. There you have it, guys. That was Billy Garcia and David. And David did a good job, even though he insulted Billy.
Oh, he took it the good way.
No, he wasn't meaning to insult him. I was just giving.
He was awesome.
Oh man, that was great. That was a lot of fun.
He's a busy dude. I don't think it's just because of Survivor. He's got a lot of other pans on the stove.
That's right. So hey y'all, we've got a lot of preseason podcasts out. We have our initial reaction from the day they were announced. The cast was announced.
What's that one called?
Who the heck are these people?
There you go.
All right. Then we have our Survivor Fantasy Draft. Because David and I have his draft thing going on.
Well, I drafted a team that's going to dominate Team Dwayne.
Yeah, whatever.
Go ahead.
And then we had our full cast assessment podcast where David and I spent more time with them and, of course, talked about why our team was going to win our fantasy draft.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had, of course, this one, the Billy Garcia one. And we're about to record in 2 days our listener feedback show for the full cast. And at that time, we will give our answers to the 10 questions that Billy answered tonight. So thanks for listening to Survivor Talk with D&D. It's been fun.
Yep.
All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.